This excerpt was taken from the Full and Bloom interview with Doug Marks. You can listen to the entire interview at fullandbloom.com. Season 2 of the Full and Bloom podcast will launch on January 1st, 2021. Subscribe to our channel if you'd like to be notified as new interviews and excerpts are uploaded. You start your teaching career in Denver, and I read that you were in touring bands while you're in Denver?
Cover bands. Before Denver, I played out of the southeast, particularly Atlanta, Florida, and that area. The vacation traffic down in Florida. I would play 6 to 7 nights a week, but it was at the time, mid-70s, and it was cover bands. Okay. After that, I moved to Denver. I didn't play at all when I was in Denver, but I did start teaching private guitar instruction in Denver. However, I had not given up the dream, and my wife and I decided, let's move to Hollywood. Beverly Hills, swimming pools, whatever. Pursued the dream. And when I came out here, I found that the dream was pretty hard to pursue. I mean, I realized, I wasn't naive. I was almost 30 at the time, so, I wasn't stupid or anything, and I had my head on straight. But when I got out here, the whole thing was much different than expected. It wasn't a matter of I didn't have the talent or the ability or the look or any of the other things. There was so much crap out here to sort through. I'd go for an audition. Nobody knew who I was, and it'd just be a band that would never go anywhere because the quality of the people that I was coming across were not very good. They were not good players. They were mostly amateurs. They had never actually played in any kind of professional bands at all. And so I decided I better get back to doing the guitar lessons, and that evolved into Metal Method very quickly. I mean, I moved out here in 81, and in 82, I started Metal Method. And then by 85, Metal Method was so successful that I felt that I could pursue my dream, and that's when I did Hawk, and I had actually accumulated about $80,000 that I was able to spend promoting the band, housing the band, paying for rehearsals, the whole thing. I was covering all expenses, and I went through the entire $80,000. And at the other end of it, because there were problems with the band, the guys were younger than me. It was very difficult to manage. There was alcohol and drug problems, and so I went back to Metal Method.
And back then, 80,000 went a lot further. I mean, that was a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even with Metal Method, when I started Metal Method, I had absolutely nothing. I had just been kicking around. And I mean, I had a couple of guitars and no wealth, no job, nothing. But within a year and a half, I was making over $100,000 a year. So it was a real rag to riches. But as time has evolved, at this point in time, because there is less demand for type of lessons that I do and so on and so forth, and there's so much competition that I don't make much more than a regular instructor does right now, if even that.
I'm assuming you had been to L.A. prior to moving there, though,
Never.
right?
No.
You just moved did you move?
Well, it started, my ex-wife had a job in Atlanta, and I didn't. When I left the band that I was in there, the band that was doing the traveling around, playing in Florida and such, and she got an offer to move to Denver. She was hand-painting lamps, and the company wanted her to move out to the headquarters in Denver, and so they moved us out there. And after we were in Denver for a couple years, and as I said, that's where I started giving some guitar lessons, they laid her off, so neither one of us were really working to speak of. We rented a truck. I had a VW. We tied the VW on the back, trailer hitched it or whatever, and drove to California, not knowing anybody aside from an aunt and uncle that I had out here. Didn't know anybody. But at the same time, I'm originally from West Virginia. When I moved to Atlanta with my ex-wife, we moved to Atlanta, did not know a single soul. The day we got there, we met somebody, and they said, hey, you can come over and spend the night at our house. I mean, that was a long time ago. But, yeah, for the decade from when I was 20 to 30 years old, I didn't have, as my mom would say, a pot to piss in.
So do you move in with your aunt and uncle, or do you guys get your own place?
Got our own place. As a matter of fact, aunt and uncle lived in Orange County, and that's an hour and a half drive from where we decided to settle. We wanted to be reasonably close to the Hollywood area and all that stuff because of my rock and roll dream.
Right.
So we settled in Van Nuys, and while in Van Nuys, that's when I started doing the Metal Methods thing, and very quickly moved to a nice home, a nice car.
It was like within a year you're in a house. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it was a rental house at the time. I didn't have a house until that we paid, was our own until 86, so that would have been right after Hawk. But at the same time, I mean, when I was in Hawk, we were driving a brand new XJS Jaguar, going to the Rainbow, hanging out, and I'm sure that caused a lot of competition. People would look at me and go, man, I got to do what that guy's doing. He's doing something right.